This is my first video on YouTube with my own channel. My name is Jiffy Day. Yeah, it's a nickname, Jiffy, J-F-F-Y-D-A-Y, Jiffy Day. I was born in December 1st, 1948. I'm 76 years old, and yeah, I'm a hardcore baby boomer. Now, I researched how to do this, starting my own YouTube channel, and I've come to the conclusion the best thing I can do is not try to be anybody else but me. So there's not going to be a lot of editing, and what you see is what you get, because I don't know what I'm doing. I have a very checkered past. As a fact, I live in Montgomery County on top of Allegheny Mountain, pretty much to myself, my wife and I. Some people say I ain't fit to be around other people, but I'm still alive, and only by the hand of God. Well, I've become an author. And the uniqueness about how I did that is this fact, I'm illiterate. I cannot read or write. I can read well enough to get by, but I couldn't sit down and write you a letter. But from my very checkered past, from an outlaw motorcycle club to being in the ministry. And how all this came about, I'll tell you about it. But I need to let you know, I've seen death. I've seen God. I've had guns to my head. Didn't go to Vietnam. They wouldn't take me in the Army. Didn't protest it, though. Here I go, ad-libbing. But I'm not gonna edit anything. And you see me looking down, but the camera's on top of the monitor, and I'm looking at myself talk. But anyway, let me start with this. This is the books I wrote. Colorblind series. The Growing Season, Colorblind, Piper's Reality, A Taste of Fear, Vietnam, Never Ending War, Post-Traumatic Stress, After the Harvest, and Fruit of the Harvest. And there's one more coming in this one. Later on, this took 10 years to do this, by the way. This is Freeze, Virginia. Freeze Dam. Age of Consent. The Cruel Side of Love. I've lived long enough to do a few things. I've had about 3 guns to my head, and the people shot over my head, just close as bang. They made a big mistake, though. They didn't shoot me. I lived through it. I've seen death, I've seen God, and I'm sitting before you by the hand of God. Anyway, I've seen many different things. I've had a broke heart, I've had my butt kicked, I've made a fool of myself over a woman, I've had a bad reputation. God kept me out of jail, kept me out of Vietnam. Now, when I say I have been locked up, but not for no extended time. But I've seen a few things being 76 years old, out of these Blue Ridge Mountains of southwest Virginia, and then Southside Richmond. I've been to Mexico and back. We get into all that later. But if you want to hear my story, how I become a writer, about having a vision how I become a writer, how I ended up writing these books with no education. And I'm not joking here. I can barely read to get by, but to handwrite you something, I can't do that. But if you want to hear some of my tales, I rode in the outlaw motorcycle club in the 60s. I had a 52 panhead Harley, chopped. Boy, I'd like to have that back. Now, when I say I rode outlaw, I wasn't 1%. You bikers will know what I'm talking about. Don't anybody know anything about biker clubs at all. 1% is a different level. Come close becoming 1%, but got out of that before it happened. Just need a different way of life. So this first video is just to introduce myself. I don't know what else to do. And I'm going to talk about these books. I'm going to tell you what happened through things I experienced in life. Again, I'm 76 years old, and some of you younger generation folk, you might ought to listen, because I know what real fear is. Again, I know what death is. I've experienced victory and I've experienced pain. Of course, the James Taylor song, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. It's true in life. If you get through life and you're in your 70s, mid-70s, you've come a long way. The 70s were different. I got a video on the 60s and 70s. I'll be showing that later on my business YouTube channel here. I decided after doing research, and I've seen all other people who's got their own YouTube channels, they tell you how to edit. They tell you what you should do, how you should do it. And after seeing all of that and reviewing, because YouTube is a great research tool. That's how it helped me become a writer with no education. Great research tool. So it gives me an opportunity to tell my story. Later on, if you stick with me and you like what I'm saying, you know what they say. I ain't made a penny off of selling these books. And I'm not asking you to just give me money. I'm asking you to read my work. Now, I'm not a very good writer. In fact, if you have to have your T's crossed and I's dotted, this may not be for you. But I tell a story the only way I can from my heart. And that's the only way I can do it. So, if you say I read my work, you're going to see a lot of mistakes. But people I know in Southwest Virginia, like White Top Mountain, Mount Rogers, Mouth of Wilson, Galax, Floyd County, Grayson, Carroll, Smith, Pulaski County, Southwest Virginia, where all of this takes place, where all of my books take place about an interracial couple that leaves Galax High School in '64. And it started out to be a trilogy, and first thing I know, it's 6 books, and I'm working on the last one. It turned out to be 7 novel series. Now, I've had all kinds of health problems. I've escaped a lot of things. I'm still sitting alive. So when you see this video, you're getting Jiffy Day. I can't be anybody else. I don't have the education. I have to get help to do this because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just going to be me. When you see me and you see me mess up, I'm not going to edit it out. It's one thing about baby boomers. They be themselves if they're true to themselves. Now, you see me looking down, the camera's on top, so I'm watching myself talk. I'm not exactly a pretty thing to look at either. I don't know what else to tell you this first video. Describe. Whatever YouTube requires you to do, if you're interested in my story, this is the beginning. I'm going to take each book and go step by step. I'm going to tell you what I went through when I rode a Harley in the 60s. God, I miss that bike. An old panhead, 52 panhead. Then I had a 54 panhead I bought from the Pittsburgh Police Department. Well, it's a good thing I sold him. They probably would have killed me anyway. So, I'm just taking this video, let you know, it's not a put on. It's not rehearsed. It's me. I'm going to tell you the truth how I see things. You may not agree with it. And don't get into politics. God almighty, I'm so sick of that stuff. This ain't it. This is about me and being a baby boomer and witnessing things. Being there when things happened. See, my generation, we lived through integration. We lived through the Vietnam rights. We lived through the assassinations of the Kennedys and Martin Luther King. We lived through all of that. And in spite of all of that, everything that we witnessed, we actually witnessed in '69, not only Woodstock, but we witnessed a man on the moon. Think about that. The baby boomer generation come through history. I want to talk about my ups, my downs, my failures. Sometimes when I thought I had victory, my experience with God, and how all this come about by the hand of God. Now, I've been talking 10 minutes. Hope you ain't got bored and done hung up on me. So, I'm pushing 11 minutes. I do have more things to say, but I want to get in just to introduce myself. Now, the next video will be another talk. If you start with me now, you're going to start from the beginning. I've been diagnosed with heart failure. I may have to get a pacemaker. I've got kidney stones. I've got gout in my right toe. When I look down, I can't see my feet. Keep your mind out of the gutter. But I'm Jiffy Day. And I write about sex, drugs, rock and roll, and Vietnam. My generation. So, it's not a real long video, but this is going to be the first one. Start with this, and if you like it, come back for the next one. And I want to thank YouTube for giving me an opportunity. Otherwise, I wouldn't have it. And if you want, and I'm going to tell you how I become a writer, the steps I took by being self-published. There's a lot of do's and don'ts, even if you're self-published. I'm going to talk about how to get your ISB number. I'm going to talk about how to get your copyrights. You can do all that now. I'm going to talk to you about how technology come to my rescue. Man, remember, I come from a generation where when we had telephones in the house, it was 5 or 6. It was a party line, and you had a special ring. Sometimes you had to interrupt people if you was expecting a call. I've come through that to transistor radios, portable radios. I come through that period, and this thing here, that's a curse. See that? That's one of the most aggravating technologies that any one person can have. I'm surprised it ain't ring now and interrupt me. I can't go nowhere without it. Now, I come through the drug subculture of the 70s. I've been investigated. I've got caught growing pot. Fact, it's not too long ago, the state of Virginia Drug Task Force, before they started legalizing stuff, was sure that I built this house on the mountain with drug money. No, I spent 28 years on a job in fabrication. My wife spent 40-some years on her job, and when they come, thought they were going to arrest me and done a brief background check on me. I owed 80 grand on this place. So I'm telling you guys, if you want to hear more of my story, subscribe, give me a like, but this is the first video. I got some things I want to share with you. A lot of you baby boomers can relate, and some of you young folk, wake up. I mean, wake up. And I want to give thanks and prayers to every veteran within the sound of my voice. God bless you. Okay, folks. Almost 15-minute video. I hope you guys watch it. And may God bless you. We're going to talk later if you'll come back. But look, we'll go over each book. We'll go over some of my life, what I experienced. And a lot of you baby boomers, I hope, can relate. So give me that like. Give me that subscription, whatever you got to do. And I hope that YouTube will allow me to tell my story. God bless you. God bless America. 15 minutes.